If I wanted, I could have it. I embrace my inner alchemist. I attract all things I manifest. Bad bitch. If I wanted, I could have it. I embrace my inner alchemist. I attract all things I manifest.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be doing January horoscopes for 2025. I am recording this on the day of the full moon in Gemini, so happy full moon. I hope y'all are all doing very well. And Happy New Year, right? But we won't waste no time. We're going to jump right in, starting with Aries. And so, Aries, the big news for January is that the nodes changed from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. Now, I did do a video with the first Pisces eclipse that we had. If you want to go back and check that out, feel free to do so. Virgo has not had their eclipse yet, but they will. And we'll obviously talk about that when we get there. But the nodes enter into Pisces and Virgo officially on January 11th, 12th. And so at the same time, it will conjunct Venus and Pisces in your 12th house. And so anytime we're talking about the North and South Node, we're talking about karmic lessons here, good or bad, right? Which can bring unconscious growth. It can bring compassion, creativity, and unconditional love and romance, especially a spiritual connection, or maybe even going on a spiritual retreat or doing some kind of charity work. On the other side of that, this can feel like unrequited love. Maybe you're even dating somebody from a distance, or again, there's some kind of soul connection where you guys feel like even though you're far apart, or even when you are apart, that you're still connected. Or this can just be a private love affair or creativity, or some kind of spiritual practice going on behind the scenes. Or again, it's internally, it's in the mind where you're having a lot of dreams, or seeing a lot of signs, symbols, and synchronicities, and maybe not so much talking about it, but doing the deep research to understand what these things are as they're happening to you, because they could feel very auspicious, or they can be very much leading you to where you're meant to go over the next year and a half. The other thing that will happen in January is that your ruling planet is still retrograde, but on the 6th, it will retrograde back into Cancer. It's been retrograde in Leo, and you can go back to last month's videos to see, how that played out and what you're supposed to be learning, et cetera, et cetera. However, Cancer, Mars and Cancer, Mars moved into Cancer back in October. And so whatever was coming up for you back in October can very much be you're revisiting these things. And this was in the 4th house. And so this is anything to do with property issues, family issues, um, this could have something to do with your home environment and maybe wanting to switch that up and even adding some kind of spiritual practices into that. It can be very emotional because it's also going to be conjunct the full moon in Cancer that will happen on January 13th. And so it's like emotional frustration, emotional irritation with family matters, repairs, home repairs, remodeling or decorating. And the super unfortunate part about Mars being in retrograde is that you might feel like you don't have the energy to deal with these things, but you are, in fact, going to have to deal with them. It's better to go through it than to try to escape it or avoid it. Otherwise, that can be the karma from the North Node perspective, is that you're escaping, hiding things under the rug, hoping that they'll disappear. And that's how you carry on karma within your life without dealing with it or even being the victim. Like, why is everybody picking on me? Why is this happening to me? Um, and those can be very much things that you go through and experience. You just might not be ready to deal with it, but it would be best if you address them head on with love and compassion in your heart. And from the best of your for the best of your as best as you can, right? Because with Mars, the truth of the matter is that's our action, our motivation, what wakes us up in the morning, and it's retrograde. And so it's a little bit more internal, and you can still be trying to figure all those things out. And sometimes when you don't know, you feel lost, or there's a lack of direction, or things of that nature, it can feel like, I don't have the answers. I really don't know. Why are you bothering me? You know, or that things just don't seem clear, or you really don't know who to believe. Um, or you could be dealing with people who lied or told lies in the past, and it's like, why should I believe you? Like, you've always been this way. Why would this be any different type of energy? And so there's a bit of um resistance to these issues that are coming up if it's not a lack of motivation. Um, and so, yeah, then we have the new moon in Aquarius that will conjunct Pluto and trine Jupiter. This is beautiful energy. It's happening in your 11th house on January 29th. And this could be like some kind of powerful business person or powerful career moves for the long term. Some kind of vision that's coming clear to you that you're might be taking action towards. This could be collaboration with powerful people or networking, um, socializing, even friends that are very powerful that will support you in some way, shape, or form. That could be very helpful over the next 2 weeks from the 29th. Um, yeah, so good luck with that, Aries. Okay, Taurus, how you doing? You will have the North Node entering into Pisces on the 11th. So the Pisces Virgo axis starts on the 11th of January, coming out of Aries and Libra. Um, it's not an actual eclipse, by the way, they're just actually switching. But um, it will conjunct your ruling planet Venus in Pisces in your 11th house. And all north nodes are relative to some kind of karmic situations, good or bad, right? And so it's the 11th house. This could be friendships, communities, groups you belong to, any kind of teamwork or collaboration with others that can seem very, very spiritual or auspicious. This could even be finding love through those particular themes. And the love can be very unconditional, romantic love. or even charitable, where you might be finding yourself wanting to give back more in some way, shape, or form. It could also be that you elevate in your spiritual practices in some way, shape, or form through receiving signs, symbols, synchronicities, or dreams that could be leading you towards these things. It's going to amplify your creative talents, that I think is going to put it, because it's in the 11th house. The 11th house is at the top of the chart. And so this could lead to some kind of fame or recognition in some kind of way. Um, but it can grow essentially in a very positive way. Um, yeah. And then you have Mars retrograde, but it'll retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, revisiting things that happened back in October. And it can also be, it will also be conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your third house on January 13th. And so this is a lot of emotions, anger, stress, frustration, with anything to do with third house matters. And so this could be cars, siblings, teachers, meetings, interviews, and communication. Even learning, studying, and writing, you could be changing or working through changing in some way, shape, or form. Even could be listening, um, hearing out what people have to say, especially if you're in a business and it's like marketing. You really want to pay attention to your clients, what they're saying about your products, why they like you, and capitalize on that. And so using that for a marketing or sales plan. You could even be learning more about these through reading, studying, writing. Um, or you could be writing a book or planning to write a book or set up a website, a YouTube or a podcast, or again, just taking some kind of class. Be very careful for car accidents when Mars is retrograde in the third house. Um, but either way, essentially, with all these themes, the truth is you just might not have the energy to deal with any of it. But it would be best to really take your time, do things, bit by bit in smaller pieces. Um, Third house is ruled by Mercury in Gemini. And so you really want to focus on uh, dealing with details, but dealing with things in pieces. Do one piece at a time, then another piece until you get the bigger picture, which is the opposite Jupiter. And you get the vision. And you'll see, it's like putting puzzle pieces together where you get to see the whole thing now, right? And give yourself time to get through this again because Mars is retrograde. You could just be really like, do I have to do this? Do I really care? Um, and it could be really frustrating and annoying. It could even be a little snappy. But it might be really good to invest in like forms if you do like if you do have a business to get reviews, or a way. This is probably why it's a good idea to set up a website so that people can like just put in their reviews. That way you're not dealing with so much of the tediness of what it takes to build these types of things. I'm going to be honest with you. If you're looking for a new job and you have an interview, you might want to put that on pause if you can, um, because it just might not go the way you intended to. You might be struggling with finding the words to sell yourself in an interview appropriately, unless it's something that you already have a skill in and it comes natural to you. That's completely different. Um, any kind of meetings or dealing with siblings and aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, and cousins, neighbors. Just know that there's a possibility of miscommunication. Somebody taking something that you say wrong or your attitude, could be like, because you're tired. You don't really have the energy. And some people might not see that as you being tired, but you being dismissive. So be mindful of how people are viewing you as opposed to the truth of what it really is. And maybe even saying that, like, maybe it's not a good time for us to have this conversation. I'm really just not feeling too well, type of thing, to kind of ease the tension in the air. But yeah. And then there's the new moon in Aquarius that will conjunct Pluto and trine Jupiter in your 10th house on January 29th. I love this new moon. Whatever you launch at this time is going to be super, super powerful and can bring in a lot of money. So keep doing the work, bit by bit, and you'll begin to see the fruition or manifestations of what it is you're working on out of all these themes discussed here once you get everything in order. So good luck with that, Taurus. What up, Gemini? How you doing? Um, so the big news for January is that the nodes shift from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. Now I did do a video of Pisces back in September if you want to go check that out for more information. Virgo has not had a nodal eclipse yet. But this will be happening on the 11th of January, and it'll conjunct Venus in your 10th house. And anytime you're dealing with the North and South Node, this is very karmic, good or bad. And so this could definitely bring in imagination, creativity, um, even unconditional love and romance. You might even find this at work in your career matters, or you just notice that you're like super on it when it comes to your career or business ventures, especially if you're in some kind of spiritual business. But you can bring your spirituality with you wherever you go. Through, like we're talking about Venus, through your jewelry, the things that you wear, your spirit, your beliefs, your faith, and it could be your persona. 10th house is at the top of the chart, and so you could be showing up very spiritual, like, or this is how people view you in some way, shape, or form. Um, and that could be again attracting in some kind of unconditional love or support, even social matters, and connections. Um, yeah. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th. And this is going to be revisiting things that happened back in October. And it'll also be conjunct the full moon in your second house on January 13th. And so whenever we're talking about Cancer, it's all about emotions. Your mood can be really up and down, and it can be, frustration, anger, tension, um, around second house themes. And so if you do have something business or career wise trying to get off the ground, you might feel like you don't have the energy to do it. And so you might struggle to kind of get things off the ground. Um, Especially if you're starting a new job around this time, or a new project at work around this time. Um, if you want a raise, this would not be the time to ask for it. Um, Even the way you're making your money could be a little slow, blocked. or just not moving as fast as you want it to. Um, but the truth is you just might not be working as hard as normal because your energy levels are down. You know, you might not feel like you have the energy to continue moving forward with whatever it is you're doing. You might not feel aligned to it, spiritually. Um, you might even be questioning how confident you are in your talents, but don't make permanent decisions off of feelings and emotions that are going to change over time. Try to be patient with yourself and everything that you have going on. Um, before you make a decision, I would wait until like February, March to see if you still feel that way, when Mars goes direct, you know? Um, you just might not really have the energy to put into making the necessary changes to elevate financially in what it is you're doing. And that's probably because you're getting some kind of sign symbol synchronicities to change something about your business, your career, getting a new job, finding a new job. And if you've already done these things, then on the flip side to all of this, it's going to be a lot smoother. It still might be slow, but you'll feel the energy differently. And that motivation can be passion and contentment, and even pride. You might show a little pride in what it is you're doing or changing or transforming into at this time. It's going to be different for everybody, but you guys are going to let me know how this plays out for you. It's all about how you feel spiritually and whether or not it lights up your heart when you do it. You know, if you feel like every morning when you wake up, you're like, yes, another day, then you know you're on the right path. If you don't, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not on the right path, but something about it you may have to change and revise, rethink, and redo that's more spiritually aligned with who you are or where you're going for that matter. And so there could be a lot of dreams, sign symbol synchronicities leading you to what that passion is. So pay attention to what's going on around you and inside you. And then the new moon in Aquarius will conjunct Pluto and trine Jupiter in your ninth house on January 29th. This is a beautiful new moon. Whatever it is you're launching that's going to expand beyond your dreams, um, is going to be more spiritually aligned, more tapped in. Again, it's just going to feel better. So again, don't give up on anything that you're doing. Really take your time, rest and retreat and enjoy it. You know, get some do some self-care stuff. Um, and level up on your spiritual practices and watch when the new moon comes if your energy shifts or changes in some kind of way. Um, yeah, because whatever it is you're launching, it's going to expand beyond your dreams. Good luck, Gems. Okay, Cancer, what it do? Um, so the big thing happening in January is that the nodes shift from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. Now, I did do a North Node eclipse video for Pisces back in September, if you want to go check that out for more information. But the North Node enters Pisces and it'll conjunct Venus in your ninth house. And so you might start to learn something more spiritual. Um, or this can bring in some kind of unconditional love and romance. You might find yourself giving back and doing more charity work or even coaching or traveling to spiritual retreats, maybe even teaching or speaking about your spiritual journey in some way. Um, and then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th. which is your sign. And so you'll be revisiting things from October. And it's also going to conjunct the full moon in your first house on January 13th. And so anytime we're talking about Cancer, this can be emotional outbursts, confrontation, mood swings, and this could be with a significant other if you're in a relationship, or this could be with your personal appearance and how you look. You might want to change it, but don't know what that is. Because something in you is like your motivation to make necessary changes could be like really, really, you're just not feeling it. But don't give up. Keep trying different things, thinking things, researching things, things that really align with you and who you are, things that light up your heart when you see it. If you find yourself being super attracted to it, go with it. Also just know this could be definitely like a shopping spree, and half the stuff you get, you realize, I don't even freaking want this shit. Don't make permanent decisions off of temporary emotions, okay? Just keep your stuff until like February, March, once Mars goes direct before you make any decisions, but also don't be afraid, obviously, if you can afford it, right? To play around with different kinds of styles, and just feeling them on the size. Um, yeah, just being open to that. Even if you're not actually shopping and you're doing some window shopping, right? Um, Play around with different things that you see, and then sit with it. Just let it sit in your cart if you're an online shopper. you know, just leave it in the car and be like, do I really feel good about this, or do I not feel good about this? Do I like it, or do I not like it? And just weigh the pros and cons until you feel like, you know what, I'm gonna get that. And be able to identify why. Um, Also, you could just use this time to go inward and reconsider what you want, um, this new year to look like. It's also going to allow you to let go of things that drain you and hold you back in a major way. So this could also just be super internal stuff going on. It could be an indication that you need to let some things go, and that's really the blockage. It might not have anything to do with your physical appearance or anything like that, but inside you have so much built up whatever that you haven't dealt with, or maybe you have, but you haven't let it go. You haven't released it, and it's causing confusion, right? And so there's a need to go within, really just take some time to yourself until the answers start coming to you. You can hear the voice of spirit trying to speak to you to say, no, I am somebody. It can really feel like that. You might go into it feeling like, I'm lame, I'm not good enough, I suck at life, these types of negative self-talk. And the truth is that you don't have enough room inside of you to allow new ideas, thoughts, experiences to come in, because you still got a lot of stuff holding on. So even a detox might even be really helpful for you, you know, and take some time away from friends, family, and loved ones to detox. Even if you have old clothes that no longer align with your style or who you are anymore, but you've just been holding on to them energetically, throw them out. Well, give them to charity. Give them to somebody, one of those, those places you bring your clothes to. Get them out of your energy. Because the truth is that you probably already have the answers. You know exactly what you want, but what's making you feel like disconnected is that there's not enough room for all both. You got to release and let go of the old so that the new can come in and feel new. I hope that makes sense. And then you have the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto, and it will trine Jupiter in your eighth house on January 29th. And so um, you might have some kind of really nice return on investments if you're an investor, or it could just be taxes, right? It is tax season. Or, it could feel like spiritually somebody's coming in to give you some kind of money. Maybe people owe you money, and you're not like the type of person who trips on whether people pay you back or not. Out of the blue, it could just feel like all at once people are coming back like, yo, let me get you something. Let me pay you back. Or a partner can get some significant income, and that somehow is helping you out as well. And that can be in multiple ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that your partner is going to be giving you them their money, but maybe you don't have to financially support them as much anymore, and you guys kind of split, and that leaves more money in your pocket, right? This could be an inheritance as well, as much as people might not like to receive money that way. It is a great possibility that something like that is happening. So good luck, Cancer. Okay, Leo, what it do? So the big news for January is that the North Node enters into Pisces and Virgo. I did do a Pisces video if you want to go back and get more information, but this will be happening on the 11th, and it'll conjunct Venus in your eighth house. Anytime we're talking about the North Node, it's karmic, good or bad, right? And so this could definitely be like unconditional love and romance with a partner coming in, or joint finances, like maybe you and your partner decide to move in together, get a bank account together, or something of that nature. Maybe even paying off debt, or receiving a good amount of taxes. This could also be intimacy, or that you're doing some deep, deep occult studies in some way, shape, or form, um, that is very transformative for you over the next year and a half. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th. So you'll be revisiting things from October. And it'll conjunct the full moon in your 12th house on January 13th. And so anytime we're talking about Cancer, the moon, it's emotional frustration, anger, tension, or just feeling really super annoyed with not having the energy to accomplish your goals. But it also gives you time to work on a new strategy, doing some internal work, rethinking your strategy, revisiting it. Do you like it? Does it still fit you spiritually? Does it still, make you feel fulfilled? You know, you might be working on your health in some way, shape, or form. Um, Changing your diet, your daily routine, exercising more. Um, yeah. Hold on, I just want to check something. Yeah. Yeah, 8, 12. This looks like a spiritual journey that you're getting ready to embark on more than anything. But it could be like one of those things where you have a health scare, and perhaps you're like put on bed rest, or you're told you gotta take some time off. and that leads you down a path of studying something more spiritual or occult, like, astrology, numerology, any of those. It could even be psychology, maybe even that you're getting some kind of counseling and it's starting to change your frame of mind through learning through trauma. And that brings you down some kind of deep psychological research that leads you to some kind of occult knowledge and spiritual practices that really changes and transforms your life in a major, major way. And it could be very unexpected. I don't think you're going to see this coming in this way. If you're somebody who's already into those things, you're just leveling up, to a newer, more spiritual guides, more spiritual practices, higher level stuff. You might actually go on a retreat and have a trip. You know what kind of trip I'm talking about? The psychedelics that is like life changing, you know? Um, yeah, and then you have the new moon in Aquarius conjunct um Pluto, and it'll trine Jupiter and Gemini in your seventh house on January 29th. And so you could be meeting your soulmate, or there's going to be like some kind of transformation in an existing relationship through some kind of deep intimacy. Um, or you're collaborating with others who actually want to help and support you in some way. Again, I can't fight the fact that this is coming through something that's going to happen health wise or therapy wise. It's going to change the way you view the world, and it's going to lead you down a very, very, very spiritual path. This could even be legal issues. Not that I would wish that on anybody, um, but it looks like there's a possibility for that too. Whatever it is, though, it's going to put you in front of some people, places, or situations that really change and transform your life in a big way. Yeah. Good luck, Leos. Virgo, what it do? And so Virgo, the big news for January is that the North and South node changed from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. Um, and this will happen on the 11th, and it's going to conjunct Venus and Pisces in your seventh house. And so you could fall in love with a friend, um, or there's some kind of lover that you connect with on a very, very spiritual level. It could even be unconditional love and romance, or through some type of charity event, or even a business connection that you make out doing business, or through somebody buying your services. Um, and it ended up being like the love of your life, or super supportive in some way. There's a very spiritual connection here. Or you could already be in a relationship, and through working together, learning each other, equal give and take, there's a spiritual connection bringing a deeper, spiritual transformation within the relationship, or knowing or connectedness through working together. Um, yeah. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th. So you'll be revisiting things that happened back in October. And it's also going to conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your 11th house on January 13th. And so anytime we're talking about Cancer, this is emotional frustration, anger, tension, And this could be with a friend or a group that you belong to. This could even be a job or some kind of organization. Um, but you might feel like you don't have the energy to deal with any of it, you know? But it will be best not to fall into escapism. Because what's going to happen is you're going to bring that karma into this new energy that's going to be coming up in 2025. And you don't want that. It's best to nip it in the bud now. Just deal with it as best you can and change and transmute that energy so that you can see what new things are coming in for you. And that might not be easy, it's easier said than done. Um, at least right away, you know, but you definitely want to be careful with karma here for sure, with the nodes and Pisces and Virgo. Be careful for like escapism, trying to push things under a rug or avoiding things that you need to change and let go of and release. Because that could be blocking your blessings. You got a lot of blessings coming to you. And you're probably going to be challenged a lot because Virgo is going to be in the South Node. And that's not typically easy to deal with at all. So be very, very mindful on how you address whatever is coming up on the full moon for the 13th. And then you have the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your sixth house, and then it'll trine Jupiter on January 29th in your sixth house. You're definitely going to be receiving some kind of recognition for a job or a project that you're working on. And it's going to feel like a breath of fresh air. Or finally, this could be something you could have been working on for eons, but you really, 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 really took your time. And now you're ready to present it. And you're going to get even a bigger response than you initially could have thought that you were going to get. It's going to feel amazing too. Okay. Good luck, Virgo. Libra. What it do, Libra? What it do? Okay. And so the big news for January is that the North and South node changed from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. And that will happen on January 11th. And then the North Node in Pisces is going to conjunct Venus in Pisces, which is your ruling planet, in your sixth house. So this is like new daily routines, new co-workers, new diet, new exercising regimens, any kind of creative projects, new job, new look, new style. Even new services if you have a business, new clients. Yeah, I like this for you, actually, especially if you're doing something spiritual with your business. And if you're not, and it's just about job, maybe again, this is like more spiritual jewelry, trinkets and things that you are investing in. And this is how people see you showing up at work. That's helping you stay grounded, level-headed, open-minded in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. I like this for you, Libra. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, where you'll be revisiting things that came up in October. and it's going to conjunct the full moon in your 10th house on January 13th. And so anytime we're talking about Cancer, it's emotional frustration, irritated anger, anxiety. And this could be with a boss or career responsibilities or the structure within the workplace, authority figures, or promotions, any kind of promotions that you're running if you have a business. Um, this is really, really, really going to be asking you if the work that you're doing right now is just a paycheck. You might not have the energy to keep going. If it's not aligned with you energetically, it might not work. And so you're really, really, really going to be forced to reevaluate the work that you do, whether you want to keep doing it. This could mean that you stop doing something business wise or career wise, because you just might not be feeling it energetically. It could be just a pause where you need a break, you need a rest to go inward and really consider whether or not what you're doing makes you happy. Is it fulfilling? Um, yeah, that's going to be interesting. You're going to have to let me know how that goes. And then there's a new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your fifth house and trine Jupiter in Gemini on January 29th. Any kind of spiritual business, self-employment, creative projects are going to be supported in a very powerful way at this time. You might even find love that's super spiritual, or friends or groups, socializing, networking that's very spiritual, or this could be a pregnancy um, that comes in that it could be one of those miracle babies, like maybe you're not like you can't have babies or this could be one like a special kind of case that um you're supposed to be on birth control or something like that, and lo and behold you end up pregnant. Like, how, Sway? Well, this baby was meant to come here at this time. That's what this is. And it could be if you already have children that you are teaching them something spiritual or just connecting more spiritually with your children. And this could be something that you probably have never done before. They could be helping you bring out your childlike energy that's feels very spiritual, or helping you come up with a different creative kind of ideas. Um, mm, yeah. You know what I feel like? If you're somebody who has a job, I feel like this could be one of those moments where you get fired or you lose a job or you quit, and out of the blue, it challenges you in some specific kind of way to start your own business or to turn some kind of talent that you have into a business, and it ends up being way better than you had ever anticipated. Okay. Good luck, Weebs. Scorpio. What it do, Scorpio? What? Okay. I don't know why I want to dance. So the big news for Scorpio is the big news for January rather is that the North and South nodes switched from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. Now, I did do a video on Pisces back in September. If you want to go back and check that out for more information, you can. But this happens on January 11th. And um, Pisces will enter the North Node and it'll conjunct Venus and Pisces in your fifth house. And so this could be attracting unconditional love and romance, a spiritual connecting, um, a spiritual connection. Um, I feel like this is gonna feel like out of this world for you, Scorpio. Um, and or if you're already in a relationship, y'all can vow to be more intimate and connect spiritually. And it's going to be life changing and really connect you guys in ways that perhaps you've only dreamed of, you know? This could also be some kind of acting, singing, hobbies that you can turn into some kind of self-employment. Very, very, very creative energy here. Or you can be teaching your kids or teaching kids in general. Maybe you work with kids, or pregnancy, you know. Um, yeah. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer um, on January 6th, where you'll be revisiting things from October. And it's also going to conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your ninth house on January 13th. And anytime we're talking about Cancer, this is emotional frustration, anger, tension, or delays when it comes to travel, education, marketing, promoting, publishing. The truth is you just might not have the energy to deal with any of it, but it might be something that you really feel called to do. And so the challenge here is going to be breaking through the mold. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And the key here is to work in smaller pieces. And if you have to reschedule any kind of travel plans, um, try not to be disappointed about it. It might be best to do that anyway. Or you just work through the frustration, really, really take your time. So let people know how you're feeling. For instance, if you are taking some kind of class or going back to school, let people know where you're at, and you'll see people being receptive and give you some leeway. Um, if you're doing a marketing plan, instead of trying to push it out now, just do the research, do the planning, you know, instead of trying to push it out now. Because it's the truth is there's not going to be time to do that anyways. Even if you did, it might not move. You might not get as much hits or see the benefits of it right away until March, February, March. And you might end up have to change some things at that point. And that can be frustrating and annoying. And so, see this as a period of learning and experimenting as opposed to something concrete that needs to be done at this very moment. Yeah. And then there's the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your fourth house, and it will trine Jupiter and Gemini on the 29th. So you might be going on some kind of family vacation, moving, beautifying your home, entertaining at your home. This could also be paying off a loan or debt or receiving a loan to buy a home. Yeah. All right. Good luck, Scorps. Sagittarius, what is going on? What is going on? Okay, Sag, my son's laughing at me. Ah, the big news for January is that the nodes switch from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo on January 11th. And so, with the North Node entering into Pisces, it will conjunct Venus and Pisces in your fourth house. And this is like receiving some kind of love and support and comfort from family, relatives, and close loved ones. Um, this could also be incorporating some kind of spiritual practice in your home or making your home more spiritually aligned, like bringing more trinkets, spiritual trinkets, and things like that in your home. Um, mm, or some kind of like as a family. You know what this reminds me of? The family that stays together, prays together. You and your family could be like if you have kids or something like that, going to church more, reading the Bible more, or citing if you're super spiritual and you're not into religion, it could be like citing the 42 laws of Ma'at, doing like what do they call that when you cleanse a space for ceremony, giving um oh my God, I am so mad I can't think of the name of this process. I mean, it's the same thing as saying a prayer, but it's spiritually it's done different where you'll put some water in a plant and give thanks to people, spiritual people, leaders, elders that came before you, and you say Ashe. I should be ashamed of myself because I really am having a hard time thinking there's a name for it and it's making me angry. But somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. You could be doing more stuff like that or incorporating more stuff in your daily routine in your home environment. Um, or maybe like you have an altar, or you're bringing in more guides. You're attracting more guides, new guides, and spiritual uh like protection, if you will, um, from passed on loved ones, guides, etc. Right? Um, yeah. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer, revisiting things from October on January 6th, conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your eighth house on January 13th. That was a mouthful. And anytime we're talking about Cancer's emotional frustration, feeling irritated, impatient with eighth house things. So this could be trauma, intimacy, joint finances, debt, taxes. Maybe you thought you was getting some taxes back this year and the amount that you thought you was getting, you're not, which causes you to double down on your finances, make better financial plans. This could be arguing with the significant other about money, who's spending what, and coming together and getting on the same page with how the money is spent or allocated within the home. It could be that you feel like your partner is not giving you the intimacy that you want or need at this time, and you're asking for more intimacy and working on that or working through that. It could be some trauma that you felt like you dealt with that's going to come back up and resurface that you're going to have to go deeper, get more um, what's a good word for it? It's not necessarily about being grounded, but perhaps revisiting it, but less superficially and more seriously to get down to the nitty gritty of whatever this is. You know what this kind of reminds me of with the Pisces energy? If you're somebody who struggles with like depression or something like that, or mental health, or like emotional ups and downs, this could be like you take medicine to solve the problem. But that's not really solving the problem. The problem is still there. The medicine is just helping you stay, you know what I mean? And that's great for people who that works with, but it's not really dealing with the issue. I could go on a tangent right now. I'm not going to do that to you guys because I think it's not fair for other people that you get this whole long story. But I am going to say it because I think it's important to understand where I'm coming from. I am considering doing like public speaking, and um, I wanted to take a course to be trained for that. And so there was this two places that I found out here that I really, really, really thought, okay, I like what both of these places are doing. Let me make appointments with them, read up on the website, and really see, how they can help me and how I fit in. And the first place I went to was very interesting because he wasn't just addressing the fear or the anxiety. No, no, no. Let me correct that. He wasn't just addressing, the what to say when you do public speaking. He was addressing the fear, the anxiety, and the struggles in which people have when it comes to public speaking. And it was very different from the other program. And the one thing he said, like he had a bunch of scientific studies on there that were like, oh, you can go to like Toastmasters and all these other places to learn how to structure what you're going to say when you go to public speak, but that doesn't solve the fear and anxiety of public speaking. What you really want to do is get to the root cause of your fear and anxiety of public speaking to solve the problem, and the right words and structure that you want to say when you go to public speak will come up naturally. And I was like, oh shit, like it threw me for a loop. I was not expecting that, but he had a really good point. And I feel like this is what this is saying, because whenever you're talking about Pisces, you're talking about altered states of consciousness, awareness, um, and things like that, right? And so there could be a level of escapism through medications, drugs, alcohol, where you might have took a route to solve that through medicine as opposed to dealing with the root cause. And again, I'm not saying that to say you made a wrong decision. I'm just saying that to say that this might come up for you to really, really get to the root cause, because we're talking about eighth house. This is Pluto. Pluto is like, no, 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 no. We want to get to the truth of the matter to really heal the root cause of what's going on here so you can move past and beyond it and rise like the phoenix. Okay. I know that was really long. I'm so sorry, Sag. I couldn't help myself. Um, but that could be what you're working on the 13th. And then you have the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your third house on January 29th. And it's going to trine Jupiter and Gemini. So you might be going back to school, reading, writing, learning, doing some studying, changing your communication skills, especially when it comes to siblings, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, neighbors. You're really working on yourself here, so that you can express yourself in a way that is more aligned with who you are or who you're trying to become, which I think is amazing. Good luck, Sagittarius. Capricorn, how you doing, Capricorn? How you doing? All right, so the big news for January is that the North and South nodes switch from Aries to Libra to Pisces and Virgo. And I did do a video on Pisces back in September. If you want to go back and check that out, you can. But this happens on January 11th, and it will conjunct Venus and Pisces in your third house. And so you could be learning how to communicate your feelings or communicate with spiritual guides through studying, learning, reading, writing, researching your dream signs, symbols, synchronicities that are going to align you closer to your North Node, your mission and purpose in life. I love this for you. That's going to be an amazing experience for the next year and a half. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, revisiting things from October. It's also going to conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your seventh house on January 13th. And so anytime we're talking about Cancer, this can be emotional frustration, anger, tension. When it comes to seventh house matters. And so this is a marriage. If you're in a marriage or just a long-term relationship, um, you know, I feel like this could feel like you're not seeing eye to eye, or you're just not aligned anymore. Like you're growing out of love with somebody. Even the way you socialize or who you're socializing with, you could feel like they're just not connecting to, or they're just connecting to an older part of you that you no longer identify with. This could be clients, and or a business partnership. You could just feel like you're falling out of something that you had once had a deep love and passion for that you don't anymore, or there's something about it that you want to, you're trying. It's like breaking, a new skin, like you're getting a whole new you, right? But you're having trouble with getting other people to see that, or people are having trouble seeing that within you. And so you could be surrounded by people who know of a you that doesn't even exist in you anymore. And it could get real raw. It could get real raw, right? And the crazy thing about this is that Mars being retrograde is that you're just going to want to disappear. You're going to want to disconnect. You're going to want to not deal with these people, places, and things anymore. However, what it does is it leaves residual energy left behind. And when you kind of disconnect from things in that way, it doesn't leave room for the new stuff to come in clearly, honestly, openly, or with love and compassion. Right? And so either you're going to confront these people face to face, depending on who they are and how important it is to you. Some people might not get it, and it's not worth having these conversations with them, right? And so the best way to do this is through the spiritual practices. I release such and such and such from my life with love, peace, happiness, and care. I wish them the best of luck, show them the way, allow them to understand my change and transformation, how I've grown, and however you decide to do that, right? This could be what you're researching, because you might not really want to have this conversation with these people because you know that they're not going to get it. And there are no hard feelings, but when you're dealing with people like that, unfortunately, this is easily can turn into a battlefield that is so unnecessary, when it's like, dude, I said, this is where I'm at now. I'm really trying to change these things about me. No, 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 no. Not that I'm trying to. I have changed these things about me and looking to grow and evolve. Wouldn't it be so lovely if life was that simple? It's not. So you're gonna find a spiritual way to do it. It's this is cord cutting for sure. You might have to do some real serious cord cutting. If you are specific, again, with love and care in your heart, and you do that practice, whatever that is for you for 30 days, you'll be good to go. Yeah. And then you have the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your second house on January 29th. It'll also trine Jupiter in Gemini. And so something about financial matters coming through real in a very powerful way here. It could be a new job, a promotion, a raise, um, interviews. You're going on to get more pay, a side hustle, um, that is more aligned with who you are. So launching some kind of new service in some way with your new self, your new brand, new and improved. You'll be busy, but you'll be happy. Good luck, Caps. Aquarius, what's going on with you? All right. So, the big news for January is that the nodes switch from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. And so with the North Node moving into Pisces, it's going to conjunct Venus in your second house. And you're going to be making more money or finding ways to make more money. Well, you can notice that a lot of people want to pay you. So if somebody owes you money, you'll notice that people are coming back like, hey, let me pay you back. Um, you can be doing some donating. You know what this also reminds me? Because Pisces is really spiritual. It's like those susus, when you get together with a group of people, uh, and put in a pot for some specific purpose event, um, uh, 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 purpose event, or so some kind of social injustice movement or something to that effect, you know, or you just find yourself being more charitable at this time. And you can even be doing a lot of deep research and planning around these themes, um, to figure out what fits you, what suits you, and what you want to do. Um, you can notice musically and artistically your creative talents grow in a very spiritual way. So this could be through dreams, signs, symbols, synchronicities. You come up with these ideas if you're in these types of fields. Um, your emotional desires and fantasies can be heightened heavily at this time. But these are what we call manifestations in the house of, in the energy of Pisces, right? And you might not even know it or view it that way, but because you're so deeply connected to it, you'll start to see those things happen in your life. Like you could be thinking something, but you think about it all day, every day. It's no different than chanting, um, you know, something that you want to manifest. And over time, you'll start to notice, like, damn, I was thinking about that and I just seen that. whatever that is for you. You could even be listening to these um those videos where they have like you can sleep to them and it'll help you bring in more money type things. I don't know why I can't think of the name of them right now, but somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. You know, you could be watching those on YouTube a lot more. You find yourself more attracted to them, and you're doing it from a very subconscious level. So while you're sleeping, you're listening to money chants or money sounds or, things like that to manifest in your waking hours. And then Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, revisiting things that happened back in October. It's also going to conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your sixth house on January 13th. And anytime we're talking about Cancer, we're talking about emotions. Mars is frustration, anger, tension when it comes to some kind of health issue. Um, this could be a job or a project at work, co-workers, if you have to do some kind of training, or you can get fired. And I don't wish that on anybody, but I think this is one of those times where you're just realizing and or accepting through these particular issues that you weren't happy anyways, but you were forcing yourself to stay because, right, everybody has bills to pay. But really, spirit's like, yeah, no, I know that part, but have a little faith, let go, and let God. And through this frustration, this could even be you getting laid off because you have health issues and you're required to stay out of work longer than they care to, support you through, right? And you're like bedridden for a month or two or something like that. But through this process, what's going to happen is you're going to realize who you are on a very spiritual level. And you're going to change and transform whatever it is you're learning through this downtime period and elevate in that in some way that's more aligned with who you are and what you want out of life. And it's going to suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat it throughout this process. I mean, it's Mars retrograde. Um, and there can even be a lot of resentment for whatever this is, but ultimately, um, the idea is to get past it, work through it, so that you can see the bigger picture, the bigger vision, and then act on that. Um, and then you have the new moon in Aquarius that will conjunct Pluto in your first house on January 29th. It's also going to trine Jupiter and Gemini. And so you're going to be putting some new goals into action, some new financial plans into action, even a new appearance that attracts some kind of new love or creative projects. Well, this could be your kids that are that have something going on that is pretty dope and creative in some way, or you're having a kid you might be expecting. Um, yeah, I like this for you, Aquarius. Good luck with that. And then Pisces, what it do, Pisces? So the big theme for January is that the North and South Node are moving out of Aries and Libra and into Pisces and Virgo. And so this will happen on January 11th, and it'll conjunct Venus in your first house. This can bring in a lot of social popularity, romance, specifically someone more spiritual, very unconditional love. Um, It could also be very creative, some kind of creative project that you're working on or get called to do in some way. Um, or you're becoming more spiritually knowledgeable in some way, shape, or form. Um, yeah. And Mars will retrograde back into Cancer on January 6th, revisiting things that happened back in October. And it will also conjunct the full moon in Cancer in your fifth house on January 13th. So, anytime we're talking about Cancer, we're talking about emotions up and down. Mars can be very impatient, um, irritated, anger, and frustration when it comes to fifth house matters. And so this could be like dating with your children, with a pregnancy, with parenting, co-parenting, a creative project. You could feel like your emotional needs aren't being met. Um, and your relationship that could lead to a breakup. It doesn't have to be a breakup. It could just be that you decide to take some space from a significant other. Um, or this can be that you meet up or run into an old partner and it's makeup sex. And if you're doing this with an ex, you can expect it to be just sex. It's not going to last. If you're in a relationship and you've already been separate from one another and just distance and um not really seeing eye to eye, or maybe it's between the children that you guys aren't agreeing on how to parent or co-parent, um or the people you just feel like you're dating, they're not aligned with you in some way, shape, or form. um but if this is with a significant other, um this could be makeup sex, where you guys are putting the past in the past, deciding to have the talk, deciding to work through the muck, and solidifying it. And that's going to take a lot of work because Mars is retrograde. And the truth of the matter is, when Mars is retrograde, Mars doesn't want to do shit. And that can be frustrating because it's like, say you have a conversation, you know what I'm talking about, y'all. You know those intense conversations that you have with a partner where you're like, well, I'm gonna do this. And it's not even like yelling or bickering even. It's just like, well, I think we should try to change, blah, 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 blah. What do you think we should do about little Ray Ray's issue he had today at school? Like real life shit, right? Um, and you guys agree on how you want to deal with it, but it's not something that you guys do regularly, um, on an everyday basis. And so not only are you challenging your children with a particular thing that you want them to do as parents, but it's not something that y'all regularly do as parents. And with Mars retrograde, it could look like, well, you say you're going to do something, but you don't follow through with. That's just not fucking funny. I'm getting mad at myself as a parent because I do this all the time. You put the damn kids on punishment, and then you forget they're on punishment because you got real life shit going on. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I just had a real life moment. And this could be something that you guys are experiencing though. And it's like, fuck. Babe, you said you was gonna blah, 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 and you said you was gonna blah, 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 but now you're going back and forth at it again. Like, well, maybe we're just not really doing a good job at it, but continue, with whatever it is y'all decide to do. Just know, be prepared that there are going to be some lapses within this new process that everybody's challenging themselves on within the home environment around some particular issue. Um, and be okay with that. You know, it's new for everybody, but in order for everybody to be at their best, these are the types of things that need to happen. This could even be around emotional intimacy and or date nights and things of that. Just know if it's something that you're not regularly doing, it's going to be a challenge. Write it down, put it on the calendar. You know, it's great that you have these phones that ding and give you reminder. Use your devices, okay? Get creative on helping you remember that you're trying to implement this new way of doing things for the betterment of everybody involved. Okay. Um, yeah. And then there's the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto in your 12th house on January 29th. It's also going to trine Jupiter and Gemini, which is expansion. So yeah, you're developing a new love, whether this is an actual new relationship or not. But again, I really feel like this is more so intimacy within your relationship, however you see that needing to be done. Um, um, Again, this could be a pregnancy, a creative project that you're developing or working through. And this could be with somebody very powerful. If it's a creative project that somebody's helping you behind the scenes, doesn't have to be, but it could be. Um, and again, if it's not any of those things, you're on your beginning stages of this journey of like wanting to spend time alone. Or it really genuinely could be a breakup, but it's needed. And don't anytime you have something happen during a retrograde, it might not be permanent. You could break up today and come March, February, March, you're like, you know, I had some time to think. It's like distance makes the heart grow fonder. And maybe this is something that you guys need to do anyway. Um, and after this, again, you learn how to implement space and time between the two for the foreseeable future. You know, so if it's not date nights and intimacy that you're implementing, it's like, babe, we see each other too fucking much. Okay. I love you with all my heart, but I need some me time. And you put it on the calendar, you mark the dates every month. You should have some time separate from your significant other so you can remember why the fuck you love them. Otherwise, you're going to plan their death. And I mean that metaphorically, of course. Maybe not with Pluto. Jesus Christ, let's not wish that on anybody. Let me get out of here, y'all. Oh my God, good luck with that, Pisces. I love and appreciate you all so much. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.